Welcome to another movie plot and enjoy the memories. We begin 1,000 years in the future after the great neutron wars destroyed the world. Matte paintings of city-states have formed, and now the only ones who survive in the wasteland are mutants and nomads called range guides. Oshay is one of these loincloth-wearing drifters and is being pursued through the wilderness by a group of no-name henchmen. Their commander Ankar Moor watches the ambush from a hill, but sensing danger dismounts from his horse and flanks the flankers. He leaps in between three men and cuts them down with his ridiculous-looking plastic sword that looks more cumbersome than efficient. Because of this, he takes one of the guard's disintegrator units, which causes the next few attackers to simply fade out of existence. We get a few more shots of Kaz's half-naked frame from a disturbingly low angle when Ankar orders the deployment of death machines. They're just dirt bikes equipped with disintegrator units capable of disappearing a horse, so it's odd to send them to capture a person alive. Fortunately, one rider has a gun that shoots invisible lasers now, but visible ones later, and zaps Kaz unconscious. They load him in a little sidecar and Ankar brings him back to their home city-state of Helix, where he's thrown in a holding cell. Waking up, the hero finds himself locked in a desperate battle with the security door until the jailer gives him a zap. Lord Zirpola is angry that his commander lost 2 death machines while collecting guides from the wasteland. He uses them in a live Deathsport called Deathsport that has replaced executions to keep the masses distracted, but it's rather disappointing. In a singles match, riders are sent out into the massive arena, but one just falls over nothing and still gets the win because he just shoots the other guy. Zirpola says these games are essential to the war efforts, though we never actually see any rival nation that they're at war with. Somehow this waste of resources will only be entertaining if there's a female contestant, so Ankar Skymorker is sent to retrieve one. Deneer guides a caravan of refugees across the range, hence the name Range Guide, and is being stalked by a group of mutants with big bulging eyes. When sensing danger, she and another guide, Adriann, who really whips that horse around, rides out to do battle with the death machines. The latter leaves behind a young daughter, Tara, who tries follow but is immediately captured by the mutants and dragged away for supper. The guides use nets to slightly hinder their attackers and have disintegrators already on hand, which makes the swords kinda pointless. That is until one man jumps Deneer from behind and she uses it on him before riding off just to show its usefulness. Unfortunately, Adriann is disintegrated and Deneer is tranked by the marksman, who keeps coming out of nowhere. She's sidecarted back to Helix and thrown in a jail cell opposite Kaz, so they agree to team up with the guide's telepathic powers called consciousness instead of the Force. Meanwhile, Lord Zirpola has been experiencing splitting headaches, so he calls in a doctor to find out what's wrong with him. Suffering a severe case of radiation poisoning, Dr. Karl tells him to resign his leadership before the madness takes over him completely. Too late, as Zirpola has Karl arrested for being a traitor and has him entered into Deathsport for what he calls a fake diagnosis. Captain Polna takes him to the cells where the hard-boiled jailer torturing the prisoners is ordered to stand down, as we need them for the games. Karl gets thrown in with Kaz, where he says that the winner of the games gets to go free, meaning that they release the strongest criminals back into society, and this is inexplicably cheered. Just then Ankar shows up through the little peepholes and boasts about killing Kaz's mother for a little sprinkling of revenge arc. He departs while guards come to get the guides ready for the game, but one is Dr. Karl's son Marcus and has come to rescue his father. Our hero escapes, knocking out all 3, including the guy who just saved him for some reason, and blows a hole in the door. He then gives this totally necessary spin to kill the jailer and releases the prisoners, though they're conveniently trapped inside the room. Dr. Karl says that there's gas lines above them and concrete below, so he suggests going through the wall, as what's the worst that could happen. Kaz and Deneer blow a hole in the side but release some kind of sleeping gas that immediately renders the whole group unconscious. Ankar enters and has the named characters taken away while ordering the others be destroyed despite there being no executions. Deneer is taken for punishment, which involves her being stripped and thrown in a room filled with translucent pipes for the viewer's pleasure. That viewer is Zirpola, who after over a minute of her contractual obligation flicks a switch, electrocuting the exploited unconscious. Elsewhere, Kaz is whipped while Ankar taunts him about the games tomorrow, but at least he gets to keep his loincloth on. When they think he's too compromised to be competitive, Kaz is thrown in a cell with Deneer, who's completely recovered and had the time to fix up her makeup. Karl and Marcus bear witness to Deneer's magical abilities to heal Kaz's wounds in what needs no explanation or bothers to receive one. In the morning, the guides are zapped unconscious and rolled away on stretchers to get prepared for the competition. They go through something called disorientation, which is a flashing light that causes Deneer's clothing to disappear, but oddly not Kaz's. Seemingly unaffected, the pair are brought to the arena entrance and given some dorky-looking head protection and Jedi robes. They shouldn't be wearing helmets at all, since Kaz and Deneer are sent out on foot and don't even ride the death machines. Those are for the rest of the prisoners, like Marcus and his father, who are sent out with the job of killing the guides to earn their freedom. He just pulls up and waves to the crowd like an idiot, while Kaz and Deneer are lopping off heads and cutting the riders' numbers down. Most of them accidentally shoot each other or crash, or even in some cases just spontaneously combust for no reason. That doesn't stop the guides from hijacking a pair of these death traps and risking their lives just straddling the thing. A tower randomly explodes, which was apparently some force field generator, allowing the guides to escape the arena with Karl and his son. Ankar has a tantrum about Zippy always ordering him around, but then goes out with some boys to hunt them down like he ordered anyway. Zirpola is sad that he just got yelled at by his lieutenant, so he has another fully naked chick brought to him for torturing. However, this time he enters the chamber and the woman pulls him into the machine, electrocuting him as she just wanders off. That kills the Great Lord Zippy, making Ankar in charge, and he disintegrates anyone who questions the illogical chain of command. He still chases the guides through the desert, so Deneer waits with her own device and zaps a dude from the face of the earth. Using his bike as a ramp, Kaz forces a rider to go off the edge of a cliff, and I think I'd just rather the disintegration. When they manage to evade the rest, they come across an abandoned factory and decide to take shelter for the night. Our hero takes the lead, vaporizing any rats like they're a threat, and his impressive display entices the beautiful woman. He lays her down in the bone room, so named for the scattering of human skeletons, and with it already made obvious, Deneer says she wants him. In the morning they continue riding to the little girl's last known location in hopes that she's still alive when Ankar and his goon squad return. A couple of them are evaporated, but one rider trades zappies with Karl while jumping over a ridge and the father dies. The others manage to evade capture, and Marcus mourns his father for all of about 2 seconds before we continue the journey. Our two groups spot a storm closing in, so take up separate shelters with Ankar and his men hiding behind some rocks. The trio enter the mutant caves looking for Tara, and it's all rather easy as they capture one of the bug-eyed freaks. They force him to take them to the girl, who's somehow still alive and being kept in a dog cage waiting to be eaten. The group must now fight their way out, but again the mutants aren't really much of a threat and are easily stabbed or set on fire. Just before they make it out, however, one tackles Marcus, which is enough to take him out of commission for the rest of the movie. He's fireman carried by Kaz like a bag of potatoes and taken by the girls to the nearby city-state of Triton for medical attention. Our hero leads Ankar in a different direction through a series of concrete tunnels and force field doors and a lot of first-person action. Massive explosions are caused by the pursuing riders simply falling off their bikes on sharp corners until only Ankar and his captain are left. The guide waits on a hill to challenge Ankar, so he tells Polna that he doesn't have to stick around, and the smart man just walks off. Approaching Kaz on his bike, now's the time to hit him with a disintegrator, but Ankar dismounts and shows some honor. After all, he was once a guide himself, hence the silly sword, and they prepare for a duel in a 2-minute camera rotation. Deneer's told about the fight by a guard, so she ditches Marcus and goes out into the range searching for Kaz. The duel begins between Kaz and his mother's killer, but the plastic swords never really make hard contact, so they don't shatter. Moving out of the way instead, Kaz eventually takes a slash to the back, and the mother jokes begin to get thrown around. Ankar says that Kaz's mother was a better fighter than her son, so the guide chops off his head so that he won't be saying that again. Deneer comes riding up and luckily says that these horses are borrowed, otherwise this movie might have had a hole in the plot. In the most romantic dialogue of the film, Deneer says, "Do you want me?" Kaz says yes, and they ride off into the sunset with, I guess, an adopted child. And the movie ends.